Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. My name is Allison Rouse, your most notorious groupie, and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. It's good to see everybody back here again. If you're just stumbling on, stay tuned because today's episode is a good one. For those of you who have read the book, you know this story. Starts out with Def Leppard in Salt Lake City, Utah, my friend Maree and I. It ends with in New York City with quite a few other bands besides Def Leppard. So, everybody, in today's cocktail is going to be the Poison Apple in honor of our little venture to New York City. So, kick up your heels, grab your apples, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails, shall we, folks? Cheers, big ears. Delish. So, it's got this nice little gold hue. The recipe does call for luster dust, gold luster dust, like something you would put on a cake. But I could not find it anywhere, so I just used gold sprinkles. Those gave it that beautiful little sparkly look we all love. So, right, if you want to make a cocktail and you don't have the luster dust, that's what you can do. Sprinkle it. All right, so let's get into the rock and roll. So Maree and I had been hanging out, like I said, with Def Leppard. Got to see the aftermath of the Whitfield Crane vlog that y'all already heard. It was funny. So hanging out with Savvy. Maree was hanging out with drummer Rick. We were having so much fun in Salt Lake City. It was the first time I had seen Sav since the Hysteria tour. You know, Steve Clark had passed away. Sorry, you guys. I know, me and my bangs. But Steve Clark had already passed away. And this was their first tour and album after that. We were having so much fun in Salt Lake City that they were like, yeah, we've got 3 days off in New York. We should fly you girls out. Okay. Maree had never been to New York. So we all discussed the fact that, okay, we were going to be with them for like 4 days, including the show day. They were leaving after the show. Then we would go back to our hotel. And they would pay for it. And we were going to stay another 2 weeks. Well, here's the itinerary. I'll post a picture of this as well so you guys can kind of pause and look at it. We stayed a little longer than 2 weeks. So, looks like we went out there on July 29th and came back September 1st. And it was a good thing because we got into so much naughtiness in New York City. Okay, so we're just going to kind of, like I said, we go out to New York City. They fly us out. They pick us up at the airport. So I've got all these things like my ticket and stuff from the strip clubs and stuff we visited that were still down in Times Square at the time. So we go, we're hanging out with the boys. We're doing the typical New York City stuff. You know, going down to Times Square, goofing off, having dinner at the Hard Rock, where I actually called Frank Arsty from Fate's Warning. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in New York for a couple days. You should come down and see me. He didn't, but it was a good thing because we got really busy. Anyway, so in those 3 days that we were hanging out, sometimes chemistry just dies. And as much chemistry as we even had a couple weeks before on the 13th of July of this year in Salt Lake City, it just... something was not vibing about New York. With Maree and her guy and me and Sav. It just was not vibing. So, you know, we were still having fun and enjoying ourselves. And the last night we were there, they decided to book a little romantic dinner cruise on the river. And Savvy and Rick, we were in Manhattan, and Savvy and Rick wanted to go back to the hotel and just hang out, you know, relax before our night. And Maree and I like, oh, we're not done shopping. There's a couple other places we want to run. You guys go back. We'll meet you back at the hotel. I had Savvy's 35mm camera on me too in my purse. So when they go back to the hotel, this is 3 days into New York. Like I said, we were just doing the typical tourist stuff. Sexy, whatever. I was kind of being withdrawn from Savvy and like, you know, doing... like I said, the chemistry had just died. So Maree and I, after they went back to the hotel on the 3rd day we were in New York, we just kind of were talking about it. she's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I really don't want to go on this romantic cruise with the guys tonight. I'm not feeling it. I've kind of been saying, oh, it's that time of the month to get out of doing things. So we decided to ditch the boys. Decided to ditch the Def Leppard tour. And we had been going to this little bar in Times Square called, what was the name of that bar? Tijuana Joe's or something. It was under Houlihan's. Tequila Sunrise. Tequila Sunrise. That was the name of this bar. So we had been kind of starting our night out at this bar. So we decided to go to this bar, talk to the waitress, because she always knew the good places. She's like, yeah, go to Club USA. Middle of Times Square. Awesome club. Has a killer VIP rooftop area and stuff where you can overlook the, oh, gorgeous. So we go and we're like, okay, cool, you know, still wearing, I was just in like this sheer kind of black dress with just my underwear on and some heels and little thigh highs with this little jacket over it. Was like, oh, I don't know if this is right for the clubs. But anyway, Maree and I go there, we get in. And we're at the bar and stuff, and we run into Richie Rich, Michael Alig, and a couple other of the club kids. Now, the club kids, you guys will know from the movie with Macaulay Culkin called Party Monster. There's also a documentary. They were a big, big cultural phenomenon out of New York, dressing elaborate, that really made drag queens and all that mainstream. Like RuPaul was part of this crowd, and we run into RuPaul. So they basically ruled the world, ruled the club scene in New York City and everything. And also had a big drug problem. So they killed their drug dealer, Angel. And hid the body and hid it in the river. So this is after Angel was killed, but before Michael and Freeze were arrested. So we're at Club USA. We run into Michael and Richie Rich and a bunch of the other club kids and stuff. And RuPaul's there, and they're like, no, you need to come up into the VIP room. Maree and I are like, yeah, we do. And see, this is before cell phones, so this is getting later at night. We should have been back at the hotel. Sav and Rick are probably like, what the fuck? Where are they? I hope they're okay. We were just fine, because as we went up to the top floor in the VIP room, there was Duran Duran. That was unexpected, because we're in New York. We don't know who's playing. We don't know. You know, this is before internet. We can't look anything up. So, there they are. There's Duran Duran. My childhood wet dream. Oh my God, my hormones were blown. And Maree's like, well, that's convenient. So we're just hanging out with the club kids. We go up onto the roof. We see the guys. And I'm like, we kind of do a little drive-by, hey boys, as we're going up to the roof with the club kids. So John Taylor, Simon Le Bon, and Warren all follow us up to the top of the roof. John comes over, starts talking. Hells yeah. We're just having drinks and stuff. Well, what are you doing here, love? Oh, I'm from Salt Lake City. What are you doing here? Oh, my friend and I were on tour with Def Leppard, but they're gone right now, and we're just staying a couple extra weeks. Oh, you're touring with Def Leppard, are you, love? He knows what kind of girl I am, and whoo-hoo, we both knew. Shooting fish in a barrel, this was going to be an easy peasy night for the both of us. And it was. Come to Patreon, I'll tell you all about John. And this is just the first night of our month-long little brouhaha in New York City. So, yeah, pretty much go back to the hotel with John a few hours later. And we're running around Club USA with, like, RuPaul. They had this 3-story green slide that you sat on a potato sack, and you go down the slide and just shoot off onto the dance floor on the main floor. They had this kind of fun house level where all the floors were weird and tilted and stuff, and they had 25-cent porno booths. So RuPaul and I are all playing in the porno booths with John, and we're just running all over this club. The club kids are doing all these clubs. We're going in all these secret rooms. They're doing their drugs. I don't do these drugs. It's not my thing. But I'm not here to break up anybody's party. I just was smoking whatever weed was offered and having drinks, talking to John Taylor. Grabbed his dick a couple times. I was like, all right, you'll do. Fine, cool. If that's flaccid. So anyway, go back to the John's hotel with him. Do stuffs. Wake up the next morning. Have breakfast. Chat some more. Make plans with John to hang out later that night. Call Maree's room. We jump on the ferry, go back to the hotel where Def Leppard was staying. Oh shit, there's the bus. As we get out of our cab from the ferry, the band's bus was out in front of the hotel, and there was Savvy, just pacing back and forth, just pissed. And so we hide in this little shopping center across from the hotel where Ruth Chris's steakhouse was, and we're just hiding, and we're just both looking same clothes as we had on 24 hours before, just sex, just totally left over from a crazy wild night, sex, drugs, and lots of rock and roll and stuff, you know. So we're just standing there, and finally that bus pulls off. So we go back into the hotel, and Sav and I had a 2-bedroom suite where Maree and I were moving into, and the band was still paying for this after they left town. But we ditched them, right? So they still paid for that room. Yes, they did. But so we go back up into our suite. Maree goes and gets her stuff and moves it into my room. And there's my phone number ripped up and on the nightstand. I didn't shed a tear. Sometimes things don't end pretty, no matter whether it's a rock relationship, a normal relationship, whatever. And this was not pretty, but we were just, like I said, chemistry dies out. And it had just died out. And I didn't want romantic dinners. I wanted New York City. I wanted to go party. I wanted to go clubbing. And we did. And we had given our numbers to the guys, and, you know, John had our hotel number. The Club Kid guys had our hotel room numbers and stuff. So we go get back in the hotel room, and it's probably like 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning by the time we get back to the hotel room. Slept for a few hours, went to Duran Duran, hung out with John Taylor again. Again, come to Patreon for the down and dirties. Because like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So Maree and I, we just wanted to make the most in New York City, and I'm an art history major. When I was in college, my big thing is we've got to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Frick collection. So the days that we had free, where we were going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, she wanted to go to FAO Schwartz, and we just were running all over doing the touristy things. We didn't see the Statue of Liberty because it was closed at the time. So at nighttime, we were going to the Limelight, to Club USA, to the Rocketeria, to Rock, used to be the Ritz or something. Excuse me, guys, sorry. But yeah, so during the nights, we were partying with Michael Alig and Richie Rich and RuPaul, and just crazy. Like, we wouldn't pay to get into the clubs when everybody else is paying $25, and we were just whisked away, whatever you want to drink. There was an MTV special, and the guy that showed all the club kids, and there was a guy with the saddle, and he would let people ride him. Yep, we rode him at the Limelight. And we kept meeting a lot of guys. Well, this night, the first night at the Limelight, we met the guys in Type O Negative. Peter and Kenny and Sal. Sal and I got along. We hooked up. We had a blast. We went to Kenny's apartment after the Limelight, which was close to Washington Square Park. At the time in New York, that's where you get your weed. Mama wanted weed. So 3, 4 in the morning, I'm traipsing into New York City, or into this little park. These guys are like, are you fucking crazy? It's dangerous to do that. This time, like, yeah, they're going to think I'm fucking crazy to be here at 3 o'clock in the morning. No one's going to fuck with me. And they didn't. Got the weed, went back to Kenny's, hung out with the Type O Negative guys, hooked up with Sal. He was down the road. His apartment was down the road. Tiny little studio with a little kitchenette. You walk down, there was his bed, then there was the bathroom. Not like trash or anything, just a tiny, cute little exposed brick. Yeah. So that's three count on this little month-long excursion so far. Savvy, John Taylor of Duran Duran. And now Sal, the original drummer from Typo Negative, who went on to play Life of Agony. Came through in Salt Lake City. He got an upside-down tour bus trick. So, party keeps going with the club kids. Then we go back to the Limelight one night. And Maree's having her fun, too. She's probably up... I don't have to keep track of other people's sexual antics, just mine. So, Riki Rachtman from Headbangers Ball and the Cat House and all that, his band was playing at the Limelight one night. I don't know, guess I got a little craving for little Riki Rachtman. So did him in the bathroom at the Limelight. And in the little cages that go up from the main dance floor, like where the stage is and the stained glass were behind the stage. The dance floor, they had all these cages for the hired dancers, and like we were going up in the club for the club kids and stuff. So I fucked him in one of those too. 4. So we're up to 4. And we're probably about 2.5 weeks now in, because we weren't hooking up with people every day, but we were partying every day. We were shopping, going to the museums, hanging out in Central Park, partying with the club kids at night. Like, we're transcending all these different genres. Like, people don't realize that my groupie life is not just centralized to rock and roll. Like I said, I go to New York, I've got rock and roll with Def Leppard, pop rock, Duran Duran. Every girl my age's wet dream when they were 12, 13 years old. Now I'm back to heavy metal with Riki Rachtman. We're hanging out with the club kids, which is a totally different phenomenon. And the club kids, after they killed Angel, right before, like, Michael Alig was arrested, either right after we left or right before we left. And RuPaul's huge now, and I mean, Richie Rich owns Heatherette, a clothing designer. So, you know, this is kind of what we're emerging in. And plus, I'm kind of looking at strip clubs because we're like, oh, this is fun, you know. Let's see, because I was a dancer by then. No, didn't work at any of the strip clubs there. Like I said, we were just running around, being crazy. Met a really, I can't remember his name, a really amazing, gorgeous, you know, like, he looked like Mr. Big from Sex and the City, gorgeous businessman when Maree and I were going to FAO Schwartz. And I had on this sundress that I guess was a little sheer, and I was walking by him and just thought, oh, he's hot. Yeah, we went out to dinner a couple nights. He had a nice little place down by Central Park, right by the Met. Oh, he's great. I wish I could remember his name. Yeah, when we do the Big Apple, we go big or we go home, and we weren't going home yet. But we did. We did one day. Maree's mom thought she wasn't coming back, but because I really literally thought we were in New York for only 2 weeks, maybe 10 days, but no, we were there for a month. So, excuse me, sorry, the Big Apple's making me burp. Maybe it's the sparkles. There's some sugar in that now. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's all I did in New York City. Oh, but then I got to see Duran Duran a little bit later. So there's the Salt Lake City show. I know it says after show. It's not even used. I was backstage with John the whole time. So I did see him again. Oh, my God. Sorry, I'm just looking at all the different passes from, like, yeah, Aerosmith and Danzig and stuff. But yeah, so that was pretty much, and we had ditched the guys in Def Leppard. So we keep partying. So I'm up to 5 guys. Seems like there was another one. Like I said, we were just having a blast. And we took a couple days and just hung out in the hotel rooms, got massages, you know, did everything, charged it to the hotel room. And even after ditching the whole, when we went to check out, There were no charges because the hotel room was already paid for. So we ditched the tour, and still they paid for our hotel room. Yeah. That was our little trip to New York. I think that was it. I think there was the 5 guys. There was Savvy, John, then Riki Rachtman, then there was Sal from Typo Negative, and then there was the business guy that I went out. We went out a couple times to some really awesome places, and he was really nice. And I gave him a fake number because I just, no. But God, I wish I could remember his name. So yeah, there we go. Partied that whole time we were there. Had such an awesome time. And flew home, got off the plane, and met a band from Chicago called Mind Bomb. Oh, Danny. I can remember his name. So good. But they were all good. But you want to know who was the best out of all those? Come to Patreon, I'll tell you. Alright, folks. So there you go. Groupies. Go out on tour with the band. Make sure they've got your back. Make sure they're paying for your plane ticket home. And yeah, no, got home safe. Plane ticket was, not canceled. That was Maree and I's adventure into New York City. Staff still won't talk to me. Not like I'm trying to talk to him or anything, so it doesn't faze me. No big. Sometimes that's just life. You move on from bands that you might have had fun. You just grow out of them. It's just like any other relationship. It's not necessarily bad, although I'm sure ditching him and not calling him all night and sleeping with John Taylor instead of him. Wasn't real happy about that, but what you gonna do? John Taylor, because I wanted that man since I was 12 years old. Like I said, Salt Lake City, when was that? Oh, about a month later. Yep, August 21st. He was my birthday present to myself. Alright, guys. If you want to hear more cocktails and rocktails, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bells. Let's get this vlog out to more and more people. Let's keep it going. I thank everybody who's hanging out with me and enjoying these. You guys are awesome. Alright, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bells. Join me next week for some more cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears.